You are paying good money for fruit trees that should be feeding your family, and instead they just sit there year after year getting bigger, taller, and less productive. You plant them with hope. You water them. You maybe even fertilize them. And then 5 years later, you're harvesting a small basket of fruit from a tree that takes up half your backyard. And you assume that's normal. It's not. What's actually happening is that your tree is doing exactly what nature designed it to do, and nobody ever taught you how to stop it. Because the difference between a fruit tree that produces 20 pounds of fruit and one that produces 60 pounds every year is not the variety, and it's not the soil. It's what you do in winter when everyone else is waiting for spring. The real reason winter pruning works is because it happens when the tree is dormant. There are no leaves, no active growth, no energy loss. When you remove branches at this time, the tree doesn't bleed sap or waste resources trying to heal immediately. Instead, it waits. And when spring comes, it pushes all that stored energy into the remaining buds. Fewer branches means more energy per branch, more flowers, more fruit. This is why winter pruning doesn't weaken a tree. It concentrates it, and timing matters. Late winter is the window. After leaf drop, before buds swell. In most temperate climates, that means January or February. You never prune when temperatures are below 20 degrees Fahrenheit or -7 Celsius because wounds won't heal properly. But above that threshold, while the tree is still dormant, is when you shape its future. Miss that window, and you wait another year. The first thing you always remove is dead, diseased, or damaged wood. This is non-negotiable. Dead branches don't produce fruit. They steal energy and invite disease. Then you remove branches that cross or rub against each other. These create wounds, trap moisture, and block airflow. Air and light are as important as water. A crowded tree will always be a sick tree. After that, you deal with direction. Any branch growing inward toward the center of the tree needs to go. These branches never get enough light to produce quality fruit, and they turn the center of the tree into a dark, damp space where disease thrives. A productive fruit tree always has an open, well-lit structure. Now, you shape the scaffold, which is the main framework of the tree. These are the large branches that come directly off the trunk. For most backyard fruit trees, the strongest and most productive shape is a pyramid or spindle. Shorter branches near the top, longer ones lower down. This shape resists snow and fruit load better than wide, spreading forms, and it allows light to reach every level of the tree. Long, horizontal branches break. Short, angled branches carry fruit year after year. Every cut you make is intentional. You always cut about 1/4 inch above a bud, and that bud must point in the direction you want the new growth to go. If you cut above an outward-facing bud, the branch will grow outward. If you cut above an upward bud, it will grow taller. This is how you control a tree without force. You are guiding it, not fighting it. Apples respond better to winter pruning than almost any other fruit tree. They store well, they fruit heavily, and they reward correct pruning with consistency. Pears are similar, but more vigorous. They want to grow wood even more than apples do. That means if you don't control them early, they will outgrow their space fast. In the first few years, you prune pears more aggressively in winter to establish shape. But once they reach their final size, you back off. Heavy winter pruning on mature trees encourages growth, not fruit. Plums and cherries are stone fruits, and they need extra care. They are vulnerable to diseases entering through pruning wounds. So every cut must be sealed immediately with tree paint or an oil-based paint. Plums also produce suckers, those straight, fast-growing shoots that come from the base or trunk. Suckers never fruit. They exist only to steal energy. If you don't remove them every winter, they take over. Cherries grow tall very quickly. Left alone, all the fruit ends up at the top where you can't reach it. Winter pruning keeps cherries short and productive. You cut back leaders every year to maintain a manageable height and thin laterals to improve airflow. Light and air prevent fungal disease, which cherries are prone to. Peaches are different. They are more delicate and demand more precision. But when pruned correctly, they are incredibly productive. Peaches require an open-centered goblet shape instead of a pyramid. You remove the central leader entirely and encourage 3 or 4 main branches to spread outward. Every winter, you prune laterals back hard, often to 6 inches, because peaches fruit on new wood. No pruning means no peaches. Apricots are similar to peaches, but even more sensitive to cold and disease. Timing is critical. Late winter only, after the worst cold has passed. Any diseased wood must be removed immediately because bacterial canker can kill an apricot tree fast. Quinces are the opposite. They are slow-growing and fruit on the tips of last year's growth. Heavy pruning removes your harvest. With quinces, you mostly clean up dead wood and lightly maintain shape. Less is more. All of these trees share one thing. They are dormant in winter. That is why winter pruning works. Prune in fall and wounds don't heal. Prune in spring and you remove fruiting wood. January is the window that separates productive gardens from disappointing ones. Now here is the part that actually triples your harvest. Winter pruning shapes the tree, but it encourages growth. Summer pruning does the opposite. Summer pruning slows growth and forces fruiting. And when you combine the two correctly, you control where the tree puts its energy. Summer pruning is done in late summer, usually the first week of August. By then, the tree has already produced its growth for the year. When you shorten that growth, the tree cannot respond by growing more wood because the season is ending. Instead, it redirects energy into forming fruiting spurs. Those short, stubby branches that produce flowers and fruit. The system is simple. Heavy winter pruning for the first 4 years to establish structure. After that, minimal winter pruning. Just cleanup and small corrections. Then every August, you shorten leaders to 6 inches, laterals to 3 inches, and any shoots off laterals to 1 inch. This one practice changes everything. Think of a tree's energy like water in pipes. There is only so much. Nature sends it to growth first. Your job is to redirect it to fruit. Winter pruning tells the tree to grow. Summer pruning tells it to reproduce. Use both, and you decide the outcome. A mature tree that is heavily pruned in winter will grow fast and fruit poorly. A mature tree that is lightly pruned in winter and controlled in summer will stay compact and heavily loaded with fruit. This is not opinion. This is plant physiology. And here's the payoff. An apple tree producing 20 pounds in its early years becomes a 60-pound producer. Pears triple. Plums triple. Not once, but every year. Branches stay strong. Fruit quality improves. Harvest becomes easier. No ladders. No broken limbs. No wasted space. This is not a one-time task. Pruning is a lifelong relationship with the tree. Left alone, it will always revert to growth. Guided correctly, it will feed you for decades. And that is the real difference. You are not pruning for next summer. You are building a system. A legacy. A tree that feeds your family for 30 years instead of 5. Shape in winter. Force fruit in summer. That's the system. And once you understand it, winter stops being the dead season. It becomes the most important time of the year.